We're joined by a true Renaissance woman. Judy Whitmore is a chart-topping jazz vocalist, best-selling author, licensed therapist, private pilot, and a former theatrical producer. That's a lot of stuff, but you know what? It all works with her. It works with me. It's awesome. Whether she's on stage with a big band or crafting timeless tales on the page, Judy brings elegance, passion, and life experience to everything she touches, from the golden age of jazz to her own incredible journey. This conversation is all about reinvention, resilience, and the music that moves us. Judy, thank you for joining us.
Well, George, thank you so much for having me with you today. I'm so happy to talk to you.
Yeah, all the way from California. We're going cross continents, across North America. I'm outside Toronto. You're in California. Whereabouts in California?
I'm in Southern California. I'm in Newport Beach.
No way. I stayed there a month, 1 week. It felt like a month. It was just such a great time. I love it there.
Well, you know what a great place it is then. It's a wonderful place. And one of the things I love after having moved down here from LA is they don't have any parking meters down here.
Oh, really? That's great. That's fantastic.
At least
I
not where I live.
I once got a toll ticket on a rental car. I was driving down to Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
That was a story for another. It's a story for another time. It just was a very frustrating experience trying to get out of that. But I love California. The food is fantastic. The sun is great. And, the people are just, being a creative person up here in Canada, there's like about 40 million people. And not everybody is cut from the same cloth, just like in everyday life, in every country, in every continent. But I felt most connected with people in LA, California in general.
Southern California has a lot of creative people. I am a writer also, and I've been in the same writing group now for 15 years. I meet with these same writers every Wednesday night, and it's really great. And aside from all the singing I do and the creative people singing, there's just creative people all around me, which is really exciting and really adds to my own desire to be creative.
Well, that's fantastic. And you got guts of steel being a licensed pilot and playing the role of a therapist as well. Like, how do you do it? Like, why do you see, like, how do you see all these experiences shaping who you are today?
I've been very lucky to periodically change course in my career. And I think when people had one career for their whole life, it was when they only lived to be 50. And now you have the option, you could when you get out of college, you can do something for 10 years and then if if you are really committed to doing something else, you can, bite the bullet and make that change and go down a whole other path. And I've been lucky to do the things that I have really wanted to do. And, sometimes when you want to make that change, it's a hard decision to make. And somehow you just do it and you get through it.
Yeah, Let's Fall in Love is your latest record. Amazing. It's one of those records that I can just sit around. I was just listening to it actually. And for most of the day, in my little breaks that I had in between interviews and stuff like that, and going amongst my day yesterday, it just really fits a relaxed lifestyle. Whether you can put that on during a dinner party, you can put it on during you doing some work, paperwork. It just has such a great feel, relaxing, soothing. It just helps you just like settle or unwind. What?
Well, thank,
Yeah, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, thank you so much. That was the intent of this album. I remember I was looking at my Spotify numbers. I wanted to see what type of songs stream the most, and these very sort of emotional, tender love songs tend to, I guess it's everyone's favorite when they turn on my music. So I wanted to do a whole album of love songs. And, I have a great passion for the Great American Songbook, the time period that when these songs were written. Because if you go back and look at history, When were they written? They were written around the time of the Great Depression, going into World War II and after World War II and all the recovery. It was a time when people uh, needed to be uplifted. And our great American composers like George Gershwin and Cole Porter and Johnny Mercer, these are people who knew how to put together music that would really soothe our souls. So that's what the intent of this album was.
Speaking about soothing your soul, your voice has been compared to icons like Julie London and Peggy Lee. Who are your biggest music influences?
You know, when I was a little girl, I had an album of Judy Garland's from Carnegie Hall, and I would play that incessantly in my bedroom and sing along to it. And my grandfather actually worked with Judy Garland, and he had been a violinist at the MGM Studio Orchestras for decades. And so they talked about her a lot in our house, and I think that the kind of music she sang was the kind of music I wanted to sing too. And my mother always played Frank Sinatra records, and that's what I heard growing up. You know, my kids were my friends were listening to, popular music on the radio. And I loved the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and all of that, but I had my own private world of these great jazz classics also.
I've watched a few videos of you performing live, which I always do when I have a guest on the show. You perform with such elegance and warmth. Like, what's your mindset before stepping on stage?
My mindset is, God, I hope I don't forget any of the lyrics. Yes. But
Yeah, that's happened to many people, but hopefully people can pick it up and sing along with you, rekindle
exactly.
your memory.
Right. No, what I think about is what a thrill it is to be able to stand in front of a live audience. I love performing live, and I look forward to doing more of it this year. I'm going to do a show this summer. And, you know, being able to being able to look out and see people really enjoying the art that I'm creating is thrilling. And I love being in front of a crowd.
What's your favorite city to perform in, and where would you love to perform next?
Well, have performed a lot in Southern California. I performed in New York several times, and where I would really love to perform is in Japan. That's that's my goal, to do a show over there.
And why is that?
Because I have so many people listening to my music from Japan. I thought it would be really fun to go over there.
I have that same thing happen with me in this show. Like, I have a lot of people in India, believe it or not, that listen to this show, and it's overwhelming sometimes. Even some like previous guests that have come on the show, they've received like 300 messages in their inbox just asking about them, and it's a crazy world where we have the digital age and we can reach out to our fans. And sometimes it can get overwhelming connecting and being on the ball the whole time. As obviously, I'm a parent and other people are too. So that can add some extra stress and all that stuff going on in your life. When you're not singing or writing, how do you unwind?
You know what I love to do? I love to go out. I live in an area that's reminds me of Aspen. That's these hills around Laguna Beach. They're quiet. There's a lot of wildlife here. I go out walking and hiking, and I think that's the best thing for me to do. And I think there's nothing better for clearing your mind than to get out in nature a bit.
Has your training in psychology helped you in your music or writing career in any surprising ways?
You know, my training in psychology, it just has really prepared me for a lot of the work I have done across my life, because a lot of times I think if I was, I don't know, like 18, 19, 20, even 25 years old, when I was younger, things would happen and they would just totally rattle me. And now, it was really funny because the last show that I did, it was a new venue that I hadn't been to, and the, the microphone was a different kind of microphone that I was that I was used to using. Normally, I have just a stand-up mic, and if I want to hold on to it, I can hold on to it. But this was one of those angled mics. So I was singing, and I went to go reach for the microphone, for the stand, there was no microphone stand there. So I thought instantly, I thought, oh, but in that nanosecond, I can just sort of calm myself down and go, it's okay, it's not there. Do something else.
Yeah,
So,
you can't psych yourself out like that if something's going wrong or not to your expectations. And I feel like when we have expectations of how things are going to be
right.
and we don't have that open mind, things can go very wrong very fast, right?
And yes, they can. Yes, they can. And so I think that being able to sort of look at things as not everything is a crisis. I think it's really helps me a lot.
Absolutely. Would you say your novel? Yeah, you wrote a novel as well. Come Fly with Me reflects
Yeah.
your own adventures.
You know, the I heard you say in the introduction that I was a private pilot. I'm actually a commercial pilot. And and I flew a corporate jet. So I had a lot of experience flying, and I always thought flying was it was really fun and um, exciting. And I wanted to write a novel about a female Learjet pilot. And somehow this story came to me, but there's a lot in the book that that actually comes from my own experience. There's a scene in the book where the heroine almost runs her airplane off the runway at Palomar Airport, which happened to me. And so there's like little bits and pieces in there of my own story.
That happened to you?
Yes, I was taking a flight lesson, and I it was some of my first hours in, I was flying a Citation jet, and the flight instructor, we were taking off. And if you're taking off, if you lose an engine before a certain speed, you have to slam on the brakes so you stop, so you have enough time to stop, because if you don't have enough time to stop, you have to push the throttle all the way in and take off. You have to be committed in that instant to doing one of those two things. And I hesitated. And and boy, did he yell at me.
Yeah, and you probably got the living crap scared out of you too.
I did.
Yeah, that's something I would never try. I love watching planes. I take my son to watch the planes. I hope he becomes a pilot, but I hope I never have to fly the plane because I don't think I trust myself. It's it's a lot of pressure flying other people.
Well, you know what they say about flying? They say flying is long periods of boredom interspersed with moments of terror. And that's sort of what it is. I remember so many times flying along, and I'd, and all of a sudden we would hear like some really weird noise. So I would look at the co-pilot and say, "What's that?" And he'd say, "I don't know." So
Yeah, it can be pretty scary, right? I
stuff
mean,
like that happens.
it happens all the time. I mean, your life is, in a tube in the air.
I
Um,
know. Yeah.
when anything is happening, it's pretty serious. Obviously, sometimes not too serious, but hopefully nothing does ever happen to anybody anymore because that's just some crazy event that you don't want to ever see anyone face their fate and everything and stuff like that. So,
Well,
um,
flying is exciting. It's
yeah,
exciting and thrilling and scary.
yeah, yeah. I'm talking about the scary part, not the exciting part, obviously. We're talking about the more dark part. But yeah, exciting for sure. I see a lot of people at the airport that I go to, they're training to become pilots. They're so excited to do it. One of my buddies back in college was starting to take those courses to become a pilot, and his first flight lesson, they went up and the the guy instructor was showing him how to glide to the ground, turning off the engine, glide to the ground, and then it was his chance. He's like, man, honestly, if I was wearing like a diaper at the time, I'd be full of pee. Like it was the most scariest experience of his life. And then after that experience, he wasn't scared anymore. It was
Well, you have to do those things and then just get, acclimated to to any emergency. And because when you're doing your training, they basically throw every single emergency you could ever imagine at you, and you just learn how to handle it.
speaking about emergencies, Judy. We have a coffee emergency. We must know what you drink in your cup of coffee every morning.
All right.
All right.
All right. I drink in my coffee. My my husband goes to Starbucks every morning to get us coffee.
Yeah.
So he gets me 4 shots of espresso,
Okay.
2 shots of decaf espresso, and I put it all in one cup, and then I froth up the milk myself to make my own cappuccino because I'm very particular about how much milk goes into my cappuccino.
So that all goes in the same cup.
Yes, it all goes in the same cup once he gets home with it.
So this is probably why you have so much stuff going on. It's just you just got such a big jolt of caffeine. This is the best order we've had on the show the whole time. You know, from Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy, black coffee. Um, there's been some weird ones, but this one tops them all. This has been fantastic, Judy.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to see you live one day. Is there a chance of a tour?
You know what? I just got back from New York, and so I'm hoping to. I actually rented an apartment in New York, so I want to be able to live there part-time. So I'm hoping to do some things on the East Coast, maybe starting in the fall.
Well, that's fantastic. I really hope I can see you soon. There's some great tunes there, and I know a lot of people that would definitely come to your show and they would enjoy it. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you so much.